Triumph has been busy as of late, expending vast energies and resources reinvigorating the venerable Bonneville range, and they've finally gotten around to the Thruxton family. The new incarnation certainly has big shoes to fill considering the fame and glory associated with the Thruxton name from back in the '60s and '70s, a fact not lost on the designers. A brand new engine drives the range, and a whole host of modern, race-tastic features brings the old-school calf racer look to the table with contemporary performance and features that make it less like just a tribute piece, and more of a modern machine with real-world relevance. Join me while I dissect the new family and discover what all Triumph has in store for us with this pair of new for 2016 rides. Design. Anyone familiar with the calf racers of old will certainly recognize that look in the new Thruxtons. Obviously, the bullet-style seat makes the most tangible calf connection, but the overall stance, kicked-up exhaust and classic racing tank flats play right into the genre. Personally, I like to see a side-by-side, twice-barrel shotgun exhaust coming straight back off the heads on calf bikes. But I'm sure someone in the aftermarket is already designing them for the new engine, and that's a good way to put your thumbprint on the bike and stand out from the crowd. The calf racers of old were something of a blank canvas, and riders looking for visual distinction or an edge in performance had a number of options available to them. Triumph, in a move that shows an appreciation and understanding of this practice, offers 3 custom packages, what it calls inspiration kits, for the Thruxton range that cover the bases for a sort of factory custom right off the showroom floor. First, we have the track racer kit and the calf racer kit that add the little cafe bullet fairing that is conspicuous by its absence on the stock models, slip-on mufflers, clip-on handlebars and a fare fender removal kit so you can clean the tail up and leave only the boat tail rear seat cowl for that absolutely classic calf look. While these kits are more or less about the visuals, the performance race kit is strictly about, you guessed it, performance. Stainless steel exhaust components replace the factory bits, and the mufflers come with removable baffles so you can really open the circuit up and let it breathe. A low-resistance, washable air filter opens the circuit on the front end and a performance cam rounds out the kit. All in all, we're looking at the Triumph equivalent of a Stage 3 package, and while on paper it's all street legal, I submit the legalities of it all depend on how you use it. Wink, nudge. Chassis. A double downtube, double cradle, tubular steel frame sets the stage, and a good, old-fashioned, two-sided swing arm in aluminum finishes out the bones. Though both models run identical frames, the steering geometry varies just a skosh due to differences in the front suspension, with 22.7 degrees of rake and 3.57 inches of trail on the base Thruxton, and 22.8 degrees and 3.62 inches on the R model. Needless to say, these numbers point to an agile and fairly flickable ride. At this point, the rolling chassis diverge a bit with the hang-on equipment showing varying degrees of raceworthiness. The base Thruxton 1200 rides on 17-inch, laced rims with Pirelli Angel GT hoops. A set of 41mm, Kayaba, cartridge-type forks support the front, and a pair of Kayaba shocks with preload adjustment takes care of the rear, and both ends float on 4.72 inches of travel. Twin-pot Nissan calipers bind the dual, 310mm front brake discs and the 220mm rear with a switchable ABS as an elective safety net. As you might expect, the R model reaches for the top shelf for its suspension and rolling gear. Like the base model, it too rolls on 17-inch rims but opts for the Pirelli Diablo Rosso Casa hoops. Inverted, 43mm show a big piston. Forks and Öhlins piggyback shocks manage the bumps with the same 4.72 inches of travel as its sibling, but come fully adjustable so you can dial in your ride. A pair of 4-pot, Brembo monoblock calipers bind the 310mm front discs, and a twin-pot Nissan binds the rear. As with the base model, a switchable ABS moderates brake pressure to prevent loss of traction due to overbraking. Drivetrain. Even though the preponderance of features leave us with a decidedly racy look, it's the engine that really drives the point home. This new Bonneville family mill measures out nearly half again bigger than the previous 865cc generation, and comes with all sorts of delightfulness tucked away inside. First, some basics. While the appearance is similar to the Trumpet Twinkles of old, it runs a 270-degree offset in the throws that changes to old lawnmower sound to something with a little more sexiness. Over square, the 97.6mm bore and 80mm stroke times twain adds up to right at 1200cc. A sock valvetrain actuates the 4 valve heads, and since it's a liquid-cooled mill, the water jacket helps to attenuate some of the mechanical noises from the engine while protecting rider and passenger from the heat washing up from the engine while stopped at a light. A multi-point fuel injection system works within throttle bodies that look remarkably like the old mechanical slide carburetors, and a ride-by-wire throttle system enables the use of a traction control system and 3 separate rider modes for variable conditions. So far we have ABS, traction control and rider modes for road, rain and sport, all good stuff and most welcome on such a race-tasted bike. But Triumph goes for broke by throwing in another layer of traction protection in the form of a slipper clutch on the 6-speed gearbox to prevent wheel hop as you scrub speed ahead of a turn. This type of clutch also comes with the added benefit of reducing left-hand effort at the clutch lever, so it's a win-win feature all the way around. Now for the metrics. At 4,950 RPM, this lump cranks out 82 pound and 60 pence-feet of torque with a maximum power output of 97 ponies at 6,750 RPM. Keep in mind that this is on a bike that weighs in at only 448 pounds dry, so that should be ample power for a thrilling ride. Sure, this isn't quite into the power cruiser numbers, but cafes have always been more about agility and quickness rather than top-end speed, so as far as this genre goes the Thruxton family is definitely pushing the performance envelope. Price. The base model Thruxton 1200 starts out at $12,500 MSRP and comes in competition green or glossy, jet black. Being how the R model comes with a bit more of a race-tastic package, it's no surprise that you're going to have to skin the checkbook a little harder to score one. Still, at $14,500 it's not priced too awful much higher than the base model, and it comes in a matte silver ice or the fetching Diablo red. As usual, you can look forward to tax, tag and title inflating this a bit. But since the dealer controls the actual sale price, you might be able to work out a better deal.